Tonight on Inside Story, lust, adultery and attempted murder.
It was a funny thing to face up to. This is how you're going to die.
Two husbands betrayed.
It was a pre-planned attack.
Get up! We've called the police!
She wanted her husband dead.
If I don't make it, look after the kids.
Two families shattered by scheming wives and their lethal lovers.
Who did the actual stabbing?
I don't know.
It was a sexually charged, dangerously obsessive affair.
It was full on.
A shot in the dark.
You killed the wrong person!
A knife in the back. What happens when sex and greed spiral out of control?
I just wanted to die.
Hello, I'm Layla McKinnon. Welcome to Inside Story. It would be hard to find two men who were less alike. Joe Ricks is a farmer, a knockabout kind of bloke. Chris Cerio, a millionaire businessman used to the good life. But there were some striking similarities. They were loving husbands, devoted fathers. And in both cases, someone wanted them dead. Someone very close to home. Two couples, married and very much in love. Or so it seemed. In Melbourne, high-flying businessman Chris Cerio thought he had it made. 3 kids, a lavish lifestyle, and an attractive, vivacious wife, Vicky.
Every day she used to tell me she loves me, and I thought I had a perfect life. No financial stress, beautiful kids.
But Chris Ceterio's world was about to fall apart. Chris didn't know it, but Vicky was having a passionate affair, and she wanted him dead.
I tried to protect Vicky, and I just yelled out, "Run, I love you. If I don't make it, look after the kids."
I've just come here to confess, and that's all I want to say right now.
Okay.
This is a story about greed, betrayal and crazy obsession. And the evil, adulterous women you'll meet tonight, Vicky Soteriou and Andrea Ricks, both had a seemingly insatiable lust for their lethal lovers.
The whole neighbourhood knew.
How did they know?
How? Well, they knew. He was there nearly every single day.
No other man exists in my eyes ever.
For Vicky Soteriou, it was an obsession that spiralled wildly out of control.
I love you, Ari.
Public sex, very private tattoos, and strangest of all, the double grave plot she bought with her lover, Ari Dimitrakis. Have you ever seen anything like that before?
No, never. Very obsessive, passionate, bizarre.
I will suggest to you that you are in fact obsessed with Vicky.
I'm not obsessed.
But Ari was just as obsessed with Vicky. So obsessed, he was willing to do anything for his lover. Even kill.
He then stabbed him 6 times to the body and once across the throat in an attempt to murder him.
No way. I'll never do another to anybody.
Out in the bush, Joe Ricks also thought he was living the good life with wife Andrea and the kids.
Happy times. We had a lot of happy times. We did.
Push, here, Jimmy. Here, Jimmy. Go back.
I wanted to be with her for the rest of my life, yeah.
But, as we'll discover later, his scheming wife was also having a secret affair. And Andrea and her lover decide Joe must die. Joe's now been shot 3 times and he has no idea why. Imagine the pain and fear. Joe's being hunted and all he can do is keep running.
Yeah, I did. I thought I was going to die.
I did. It was a funny thing to face up to. There and then, I just had to, it was like, well, Joe, you're going to die here. This is how you're going to die.
From the day they wed, Chris Cerio and his wife Vicky seemed the perfect match. For 16 years, they enjoyed an apparently loving partnership.
I do remember the day as if it was yesterday. It was the happiest day of my life.
Such a long story.
But Chris, a wealthy civil engineer, would discover Vicky wasn't the devoted partner he thought she was.
When did you organise it?
When did I organise it?
And their happy marriage was a sham.
Every day she used to tell me she loves me and till death do us apart.
Little did he know it, but that solemn wedding vow, till death us do part, would very nearly become a chilling epitaph for Chris Cerio. In 2008, Vicky rekindled a relationship with former boyfriend, chauffeur Ari Dimitrakis. It was a sexually charged, dangerously obsessive affair that could only end in tragedy. How would you describe Vicky's relationship with Ari?
It was extremely obsessive. They had tattoos on each other's body representing their love for each other. They were in constant phone contact with each other. There were numerous text messages, love letters. It was full on.
As the intensity of their relationship escalated, the behaviour of the secret lovers became increasingly bizarre.
They actually purchased a joint grave plot together where they would ultimately be buried. There was a particular witness that even saw them passionately kissing each other at the cemetery, so they wanted to be together for all eternity.
Then came the fantasies about murdering Chris.
On numerous occasions she said that she wanted Ari to either kill Chris or arrange to have Chris killed. And to appease Vicky, Ari would say that he would organise it. He knew hitmen. He would be able to have it done, and Ari believed that as a result of these conversations, Vicky would become aroused and it would enhance their sexual experiences.
But Vicky Soteriou was deadly serious. She wanted her husband killed and she wanted his money. Chris owned several properties and had millions in super. So she was hoping to take that money and build a life with Ari?
I don't know if it was her intention to have a life with Ari, but it's certainly to keep the money.
Coming up next, Vicky Soteriou's deadly birthday surprise.
I felt a cut in my throat. He slashed my throat.
By early 2010, Vicky Soteriou had convinced Ari Dimitrakis to murder her husband. They decided to kill Chris on his 44th birthday, January 2nd. Sometime that day, Vicky met Ari in a park and gave him the murder weapon, a knife.
It's all set up.
Meanwhile, Vicky played the loving wife, giving Chris a touching birthday card.
My darling husband, Chris, wishing you all the best with everything you wish for. Thank you for loving me so much. Your wife who adores you.
Then Vicky told Chris she had something else in store, a special birthday surprise.
She said, "Get ready, we're going out." I said, "Oh, are we?" She wouldn't tell me where we're going. She wouldn't tell me who was going to be there.
The couple set off for a Fitzroy restaurant where Vicky had organised a lavish dinner with friends. Unusually for her, she insisted on driving, parking in a secluded side street.
And I said to her, "Why are you parking here?" And she said, "I always park here when I come out with the girls." Come on, hurry up. We're running late.
Alpha Ouzeri was a regular haunt for Chris and Vicky Soteriou, and with 5 friends, they celebrated in style, eating, dancing, drinking. Although Vicky did leave the restaurant at one stage during the night.
She was missing for at least 20 minutes and we believe it's possible that she could have met up with Ari. There was enough time for her to show Ari where their car was parked and plenty of time for her to get back.
It was a great night. Good food, good wine, lots of dancing.
At the end of the night, the revellers decide to kick on. CCTV footage shows Chris and Vicky walking back to their car, bound for a city bar. Or so Chris thought.
And I noticed a guy crouching near our car. And I asked her, is he breaking into our car? And she was very quickly to respond, no, I don't think it's our car. It's the car behind. And again, I didn't think anything of it because I was about 200 yards away. We approached the car and I'm just looking at this guy before I even had a chance to lift my head because he was still sitting on the curb there. I felt a cut on my throat. He slashed my throat. I tried to protect Vicky and I just yelled out, "Run, I love you. If I don't make it, look after the kids." And then he picked up the knife and he just came on top of me and started stabbing my torso, the front, the back.
Hey, get off it! We've called the police!
Next thing I remember was a voice saying to me, "Chris, stay with me, Chris." There was a doctor that was walking by with his girlfriend.
Chris,
He helped me.
Chris,
Stop the bleeding.
you'll be okay, mate.
I think he played a major role in saving my life.
While the doctors were treating Chris, what was Vicky doing?
Vicky was hysterical. She was running around. She was screaming out. Later on at the hospital, she'd calmed down quite significantly. However, a doctor came out to inform Vicky that his condition had actually improved, and when she heard that information, she actually deteriorated again and became quite hysterical.
So when she found out he might live,
That's right.
she became very upset.
That's right.
Chris was in an induced coma for 13 days. Vicky was constantly at his bedside.
She'd been a loving wife, visiting him every day, professing her love for him.
Finally, Chris wakes and is told by his brother that there's been a breakthrough in the investigation.
Police advised him that they're moving in closely, making an arrest. And then Vicky came about an hour later and she was just crying and rubbing my face, and I mentioned to her that the police are going to make an arrest. They're moving in closely. And I noticed that she went pale in the face.
I mean, I was obviously seeing someone and it just happened.
Although police had no evidence linking Vicky with her husband's stabbing at this stage, she thought they did. And out of the blue, she confesses to detectives of her affair with Ari, and also to being involved in planning the attack.
Look, I've just come here to say that Ari and I organised it, and that's all I want to say.
But Vicky's not telling the whole truth, and she subtly tries to shift the blame to Ari.
Who did the actual stabbing?
I don't know.
Was it Ari?
I honestly, I don't know. He said either he would do it or he'd get someone else to. I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know. He just used to come up with the ideas, and I just thought, okay. And I'm sorry for it. I am.
She knew why she was there, and she knew exactly what she wanted to say.
Coming up, Chris Cerio learns the terrible truth about his evil wife, Vicky.
I was just gutted.
Chris Cerio has been savagely knifed by an unknown man on his 44th birthday. His wife Vicky has admitted she was involved in the crime with her lover Ari. But he denies anything to do with the stabbing, or indeed the affair.
It's alleged that you were involved in the planning and the attempted murder of Chris Cerio. What do you know about that?
Nothing at all.
Do you know Chris Cerio?
I know of the name.
How do you know the name?
I know his wife, actually.
Okay, and who was his wife?
Just a lady by the name of Vicky.
Okay. And how do you know Vicky?
Just old friends from way back.
How often do you see Vicky?
I've seen her for a while. We sort of stopped seeing each other for a while.
But in fact, Ari was seen outside the Soterio's house almost daily. And Vicky was telling police the only person who didn't know about her affair with him was her unsuspecting husband, Chris.
The whole neighbourhood knew.
How did they know?
How? Well, they knew. He was there nearly every single day for like 2 months.
There's a friend of mine there.
Finally, Ari admits to the affair, but still denies having anything to do with the stabbing.
I'll put it to you that you were in love with Vicky Soteriou and wanted Chris Cerio dead so you could be with her.
No.
Why are you smiling?
Because we'd actually spoken about us leaving each other's partners.
It's alleged that you and Vicky Soteriou planned to murder Chris Cerio.
No way. I've done a lot of crazy things in my life.
But police soon have the evidence to take the smile off Ari's face. Traces of Chris Ceterio's blood found in the car he was driving that night. Ari is charged with attempted murder, and initially Vicky does her best to make sure he's found guilty.
Why did you want Chris dead?
Well, to be honest, I didn't really. He kept forcing me. He just kept mentioning it, and I just thought, yeah, all right. It was basically like that.
Can you explain why?
Well, because I know, it was stupid, absolutely silly, I know.
Were you in love with Ari?
I was.
Prior to
And
this?
he showed me so much love.
Eventually Vicky does come clean, finally confessing to being behind the brutal murder plot.
I'm here to say that, okay, I am guilty of that, and you know, I did it with the Ari, and I'm sorry for it. I am.
You didn't think she was sorry?
Well, it was a pre-planned attack. She wanted her husband dead, so it's difficult for me to believe that, you know, she was sorry. She was probably disappointed that he survived.
Police now had the painful task of telling Chris Cerio the terrible truth, exposing his wife's lies, her sordid affair, and her treacherous attempt to murder him.
He must have been shattered.
He was shattered. He was extremely upset, and he just couldn't believe it.
I tried to rip the drips off my hands. I was just gutted. I just wanted to die.
It was Dimitriakis who stabbed Chris Cerio up to 6 times.
Eventually, Ari pleads guilty and agrees to give evidence against Vicky Soteriou. He's sentenced to 7 years jail. Now it was Vicky Soterio's turn to face justice. Given the lurid nature of this story, Vicky Soterio's trial was always going to be spellbinding, and it didn't disappoint. Despite her confession to police, Vicky pleaded not guilty to attempted murder. That meant all the lurid details would come out in court. There were the breathless texts from Vicky to Ari.
No other man exists in my eyes ever. Only you, Ari, my husband. I only have eyes for you, baby. I love you, Ari.
And there was the love letter Vicky sent to Ari in jail.
My love, my life, my everything. Eternally yours. Marry me.
But most sleazy of all, details of their public sex.
They were in a car park at KFC and they were checked by police, and Vicky was adjusting her clothing in the back seat, so they were having sex or in some sort of passionate embrace.
Vicky Soteriou was found guilty of attempted murder and jailed for 12 years. In sentencing her, Justice Elizabeth Curtin said the crime was a gross betrayal of trust, describing Vicky as highly manipulative.
You did not wield the knife, but you intended your husband's death just as surely as if you did.
Her motive was to get all of the money, not a divorce settlement. How much money was she hoping for?
All up, it would be in the vicinity of, I would say, at least 3 to 4 million.
She is so cold. How would you describe somebody who does that kind of thing?
I'd describe Vicky as extremely manipulative and heartless.
I think I was blind. My sisters and my friends and are just saying, my God, you're just a sucker. But I don't look at it like that. I look at it on the basis that, she's my wife. Just got to give trust, and I trusted her so much.
Still to come on Inside Story, the secret love life of Andrea Ricks.
She was like a Jekyll and Hyde.
How she fooled her husband.
I thought we were going to be there, married forever.
And why she wanted him dead. Like Chris Cerio, Joe Ricks thought he had it all. A loving wife, 3 healthy kids, a comfortable life in the country. But Joe Ricks was living a lie that would almost kill him.
Push, push, push.
Joe Ricks is a down-to-earth, no-nonsense sort of bloke, country-born and bred.
I was always going to be a farmer. I love the open spaces. Oh, the animals. Love stock. That's good, love it.
But Joe's ideal existence very nearly ended one moonless night on his isolated property near Parkes in the central west of New South Wales.
So what did you think when that first shot hit you?
I didn't know what to think. I thought my keys had exploded in my hand. I looked up and I seen the form of a person coming out from behind the tree just there.
What are you doing? You killed the wrong person.
I knew I had to get out of there pretty quick.
It's a targeted murder attempt, but just who pulled the trigger is a mystery. There are certainly no clues in Joe's past.
What kind of a life was it? Was it busy? Was it happy?
Yeah, it was good. We had a lot of happy times. We did. Wouldn't change a bit. Wouldn't change anything, though. No, it wouldn't change a thing.
Joe fell in love with Andrea while they were working together at a local store.
I found Andrea very attractive. She was fun, so sort of country-minded girl, jeans and boots, and I guess that's what was the attraction, yeah.
They married in 1997.
So what was the wedding like?
Good. No, it was a great wedding. It was a lovely wedding, yeah. Not over the top, just suited me down the ground. I'm not too flash. She looked lovely on the day, I guess, yeah. Yeah, she did.
Their life together blossomed. Over the next 10 years, Joe and Andrea had 3 children: Jessie, Doc and Jack.
I thought we were going to be there, Married forever, yeah. And everyone was going to be together.
What Joe didn't realise was Andrea's hiding a secret life.
She was bored, lived on the farm. She wanted a better lifestyle. She had very expensive clothes in her house and had accumulated a lot of debt, which Joe didn't know about. She was like a Jekyll and Hyde. Who she was not who she was.
While Joe looked after the farm and cared for the kids, Andrea went to work. In December 2006, she began an affair with a colleague, Terry Seeley.
So Terry was a person who saw Andrea as an angel, I suppose you could say. I think he called her his princess at the time, and she liked being called princess too.
Did Andrea seem madly in love with Terry?
No, he was just a means to her end, I believe.
And that end was money. Andrea wanted her husband's farm and his life insurance, and she convinces her gullible lover, Terry, to take part in her deadly plot.
She painted a picture of Joe being a person who was violent. I think she'd even feigned injuries whereby she'd been out at the working on the farm and sustained a bruise to her body somewhere, like working with the sheep and doing things. She'd see Terry and say, "Look what Joe done to me." She made him believe that if he didn't actually shoot Joe and kill him, that he'd wake up one morning to find out that Joe had killed her.
The conniving Andrea has set her trap. Now she begins plotting Joe's murder, and in a bizarre twist, even steals her husband's own shotgun to carry out the killing. It's a dark, still autumn night, and as Joe arrives back at the farmhouse, Terry Seeley is waiting.
I could feel pain, a burning pain. I knew that something wasn't right inside my stomach. There's a lot of blood coming from my right side, and I knew that wasn't right.
What are you doing?
I then I looked up and I seen a shadow of a figure coming out from behind a tree.
You killed the wrong person.
I was yelling, I said, "What are you doing?"
And what did he do?
Nothing, he just pumped that gun and was going to shoot me again. I would have rathered if he'd spoke. Probably told me something, but he didn't. No, he was just there to kill me.
Joe's all alone. His wife and kids aren't home. There's nobody to help.
He pointed the gun towards me and I started footing it that way. I got down further, nearly past the chook shed there. That's when the second shot went in. And that's when he shot me in the back. It just felt like 100 wasps just hitting me in the back all at once. And I kept running.
He's fired 2 rounds at Joe, but Terry Seeley has 23 cartridges left.
How far did you make it past the gate before he tried to shoot you?
Oh, well, I got probably about another 50 metres and he fired a third shot. Hit me in the back of the head, but it didn't penetrate the skin. So that was the first bit of hope. That gave me a bit of hope that I was making some distance between us. I just kept going best I could.
So now Joe's made it across the road and he's about to climb over this barbed wire fence into his neighbour's paddock. But any help is still 3 kilometres away. He's crippled by pain. He can hardly walk. And then he hears the gunman's car. He's coming after him and he thinks this is the end.
I thought I'm going to die. I didn't know why. I just thought this is how I'm going to die.
And what did you think of when you thought you were dying?
I thought of my family. Thought of my wife, my kids. That I'd never see them again.
Then a glimmer of hope in the distance, lights from his neighbour's farmhouse.
It was dark everywhere, but if I could just keep going and try and get some cover somewhere.
Finally, almost an hour after he was ambushed, Joe is just about to reach his neighbour's house. He's bleeding and he's in terrible pain. By now, it's only adrenaline carrying him those final few steps to what he hopes will be safety and survival.
Help!
What do you think you looked like when you came through that door?
I'll always remember the look on their children's faces. Without them seeing blood or injuries, the terror on my face would have been enough for them to know that something was dreadfully wrong.
As ambulance officers try to stem the massive loss of blood, Andrea arrives.
She was crying and trying to touch me and trying to grasp hold of me to cuddle me.
Against the odds, Joe's survived. His wounds are shocking and he's in an induced coma.
They took half my bowel out and anything I didn't need on the right side, and then they replumbed it all back up, apparently, and stapled me back together. My hand was a bit of a mystery for a while. It was badly broken.
Joe's wife, Andrea, is by his bedside day and night.
Yeah, they're good.
After a week, Joe emerges from the coma.
How's your head feeling?
It was comforting to have her there. She was affectionate and she'd hold my hand and touch me and tell me everything was going to be all right.
Coming up next, the damning evidence that cracks the conspiracy wide open.
Where was he when you discharged the first round?
While Andrea Ricks was playing the loving wife, police already suspected her involvement in the shooting of her husband, and they interviewed Joe at the first opportunity.
I only just got conscious yesterday. Became conscious yesterday. I've been in the coma.
Are you able to give us any reason about what has occurred?
No. No.
You haven't any idea?
No.
Nothing, no suspicions?
No, I don't. I didn't think I had any enemies. No.
Yeah.
Why did you suspect Andrea?
Just how calm she was. She was just very casual about it and very, very relaxed. And when you're looking, as an investigator, looking for a reason, it just didn't sit right.
Soon, Detective Sergeant Steve Howard and his team learn about Andrea's affair with Terry Seeley through their workmates at Country Energy.
Most people out there knew that Andrea Ricks and Terry Seeley had them having an affair. And there'd been a bit of a jibe going on. But Terry's mistress had her husband had been shot, and they were joking if Terry had done that.
Then a red-hot lead. A damning piece of evidence in the back of Terry Seeley's work ute. A shotgun cartridge identical to the 3 spent shells found at the crime scene.
Here we have Terry Seeley, who works at Country Energy. He's asked to borrow a ute. They found a cartridge in the actual vehicle, and he was supposedly a lover of Andrea Ricks.
Then another breakthrough. The scheming couple overheard talking about the gun used in the shooting.
Andrea asked Terry, "Where is it? What'd you do with it?" He reassured her that they'll never find it.
Detectives searched Terry Seeley's house for more evidence. In just a week of meticulous and determined police work, they've cracked the case. They charge him with the cold-blooded shooting of Joe Ricks.
I'm with Terry Cerio, the Parks Police Station. You know Terry Cerio? Yeah. Okay. Terry, I'd just like to inform you, you are currently under arrest in the conspiracy to murder of Joe Ricks at a Bogan Gate on the 1st of May 2007.
What follows is a full confession. Terry spills the beans on Andrea and her scheme to kill Joe.
Where was he when you discharged the first round?
Terry is taken back to the crime scene and gives a blow-by-blow description of the night. He tells police everything.
Okay, was he running or was he limping or how was he getting?
Down to a tree, I just don't know which one now, but I'm looking at it.
Seeley also directs police divers to where he dumped the shotgun.
Okay, so sort of butt first, or barrel first out of the water? I'm sure he was relieved to tell his side of the story. His family and friends who he spoke to had said they'd known him all his life. He'd never been involved in a fight. And he never fired a shotgun until this night. And here he was shooting a person and lying and trying to create alibis. It was a total alien world to what he was used to.
Andrea is completely unaware Terry's been arrested when she's summoned by police for an interview.
Just got to go have a quick chat with the police, okay? I'll be back before you know it.
What was that last goodbye like when Andrea left to go to the police station?
It was a loving goodbye. Yep, she gave me a kiss and touched my arm and hand and said she'll be back. Won't take long, I'll be back before you know it.
Love you.
But Andrea never came back. 8 days after the shooting, 8 days after she began her bedside charade, Andrea Ricks is arrested and charged.
Just to let you know that you're under arrest in relation to conspiracy to murder against Joe that happened on the 1st of May 2007.
You understand conspiracy?
Not really, I'm a bit thrown by the whole thing.
How did she react to being arrested?
It's very cold. Andrea, I would say, you're one of the most cold-hearted people I've ever met in my life. There's no remorse towards Joe. The only remorse was that they hadn't succeeded in killing him.
He's been totally oblivious to his wife's secret all along. Now Joe Ricks finally learns of her murderous plot.
Everything just changed. I had to stop. I just had to stop loving somebody just like that.
It sounds like you felt crushed.
I was devastated, yeah. I lay there for hours, lay there for nights, just thinking about how she put on a good show. It made me question everything, not just from when I was shot, from prior to that, to my marriage, to what was real and what wasn't real.
Terry Seeley's confession has sealed the fate of his lover, Andrea Ricks. The police evidence is overwhelming, but that doesn't make the trial any easier for Joe.
What was she like during the trial?
I made eye contact a couple of times. She was cranky. She was angry inside. She was... If looks could kill, yeah.
In the end, thanks to the outstanding work of the New South Wales Police, Andrea's sentenced to 8 years jail. Terry Seeley to 5.5 years.
Do you ever think about him and why he did it?
They tell me he was led round by his manhood. I would have preferred it if she went for a model or something. It might have seemed half worthwhile.
What questions would you like to have been able to ask Andrea?
Why? Initially, I'd like to ask her why she would do it to me, to start with. Why she would feel that she'd do it to our children. And whether it was worth it. Now, was it worth it?
Coming up, the aftermath. How the survivors face their demons.
I will trust people again, absolutely I
will. Joe Ricks is no quitter, and despite what he's endured, he's doing his best to move on. But his painful, enduring injuries make it difficult.
I've got a lot of lead in my body. My lead level is very high, and we have to monitor that.
Do you mind, can I have a look?
That's the zipper down the front.
Oh, wow, yeah.
And you can see the scarring. And
But it's those other scars, the emotional scars, that Joe's finding just as hard to live with.
Sounds weird. I missed Andrea when I first come home. She wasn't there. She was part of my normal life, my marriage, and she wasn't there.
It must have been so disconcerting and confusing to miss someone who had tried to kill you.
It upsets you. I was upset. I'd get depressed. But at the end of the day, I had these 3 children. There was nothing I could do about her, but there was something I could do with them. I could look after them and we could get by. We could get through this.
And those children have been a lifesaver for Joe as he's struggled with depression.
He wants to be a soccer station agent. What these blokes are doing right now.
He's so young and he's already working so hard.
He's going quick. Going good, real proud of him actually. Yeah.
Joe's eldest son Jack was only 9 at the time of the shooting. Now 16, he's been a tower of strength for his dad.
I don't think many of us have a relationship like me and Dad. Like, others, it's sort of just a father and son thing, but yeah, this is like we're best mates, so yeah.
Perhaps the biggest challenge for Joe was being able to love again. But in Sonia, he's found a true soulmate.
She's a pretty special person, Sonia?
Yeah, Son's very special. Yeah, I'm very lucky to have her. I had myself convinced that I'd have to be on my own forever because because of sort of what happened. But yeah, it took me a while, but yeah, the timing was right and it's going great.
Come on, get up here.
So when you look to the future, what kind of ideal future do you have for your family?
That my kids and Sonia's children, that they all find their way in life and they're happy doing what they do. And hopefully that they'll all be fortunate to meet somebody that they love, because it is a great thing. What more do you need?
Back in Melbourne, Chris Cerio is trying to move on too. In one frenzied moment, his life was changed forever, but he's getting there, bit by bit.
I'm pleased it's all over, and focus on the kids now, start rebuilding our lives, and we'll move on.
Not only were his wounds shocking, Chris also fell into a deep depression after the attack. But he's using his experience to help others and plans to set up a refuge for victims of crime. He knows just what they're going through.
I want to leave a legacy behind and I want to make a difference. And I will trust people again, absolutely I will.
Now, before we go tonight, it is so matter-of-fact, yet so chilling. A teenage killer calmly showing police how he murdered 2 young women with an axe. It's one of the most disturbing videos you're ever likely to see.
How many times do you think you hit her with the axe?
At least 7 times.
Beyond sickening, it's unforgivable.
And stabbed her a couple of times in the throat.
That's the last time that we saw her.
He's just an animal.
You don't think you'll ever walk through life meeting a killer, but that's what we've done.
That's next week's Inside Story. I'm Layla McKinnon. I hope you can join us then.